Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. As you guys can see, probably or guess from the setup, this is gonna be just a little chatty video, and I feel like I always film them in the same spot, and it's not really the easiest spot to film in, to be honest, so we're using the natural light today, and we're filming in the car. I am super excited for this video. I'm like a little nervous because I don't even know how to answer some of these questions, but my daughter turns 1 literally tomorrow, at least at the time of filming, and so I wanted to just kind of reflect back on a year of motherhood, and I wanted to answer all your questions about being a first-time mom and the first year of motherhood. So I asked you guys on Instagram to just ask me any and all questions about motherhood, and we're gonna answer them. Starting with the first question, it says, what was the most challenging age? Every age has its own challenges, I feel like, and every age has its own excitement, I guess. I kind of think, at least for my daughter specifically, 9 to 10 months, I kind of feel was the most challenging, because even though she was so much fun and really starting to just be a little human and interact, Louie has so much energy that pretty much from 9 to probably closer to 11 months, she was nonstop moving, and we couldn't get her to chill if we wanted her to. At one point she was sick and we're please just sit and watch a movie, and she literally wouldn't sit down for 1 second. So I feel maybe that was the most challenging, and she's a big putting stuff in her mouth baby, and so before she started walking, but when she was super mobile, crawling everywhere, I feel she was just picking up anything and everything, and it was really terrifying because if there was something that we missed on the floor, she could easily grab it and choke. So that was kind of scary. So I'd say maybe 9 to 10 months was the most challenging, but also still super fun. This one's such a fun question. Favorite outfit that Louie wore this year? There is this one, I'll post a picture here. It's from Gray Label, and it is just the cutest little overall situation, but it didn't fit her for very long just because of timing. But the outfit she's gonna wear for her birthday, I feel is so cute, so I will insert a picture here of what she wore for her birthday, and I feel that is super cute. I will try to link all of it. The outfit for her birthday is all from Zara, which is super hard to link, and then the other thing, I think I just said it was from Gray Label, and I'll try to link that. But honestly, I'll put I know it said one favorite outfit, but as she's gotten a little bit older, so we were very big into when you're a baby, you're wearing onesies. We're not putting you in cute clothes. We're changing you all the time. It's just not worth it. But now that she's started to wear little matching sets and shorts and t-shirts, I think it's so cute. We got her this little ice cream t-shirt, I think from Gap. And that with some jean shorts, I think it's just the cutest little outfit. Has Louie's personality started to come out yet? Yes. I feel we've seen her personality for so long. She is I feel everyone says this about their baby, but she's just the cutest, funniest little girl. She randomly decided that she does this thing, being oh, I'm so cute. No one's ever shown her to do that, but she just randomly started doing that one day. She also, if you have the Love Every Play kits, you'll know what I'm talking about. In one of the play kits, there's a heavy and a light ball. And I realized that every time I picked up the heavy ball to kind of emphasize that to her, I'd be ugh. And now, in the past couple days, she has started making that sound with everything. So she'll pick up this tiny little mirror and just go ah! And it's just so funny. And just there's so many other things. She has such a little personality, and she's so funny and so cute and just so much fun. Oh, this one's kind of fun. Go-to coffee order to deal with the new exhaustion of parenthood. I will say, first of all, I'm not a coffee girl. I'm a matcha girl. Anything I say in this, I don't mean to brag, and I don't mean to downplay anybody else's experience. We have had a particularly easy first year, I think, honestly. I think the hardest thing about our first year has been that we're living with family, and so we haven't really gotten to do things the way we want to do them, and things like that. Anyway, that being said, I feel my exhaustion came from going off my ADD medicine in pregnancy. So So I'm going to answer the question, but I didn't really have a huge energy adjustment, exhaustion-wise. But my favorite matcha order, ever, iced matcha with coconut milk and honey, and it's just so good. But when I make it at home, I do almond milk because that's just the easiest milk for me to make. And I have it almost every day. I do matcha with honey, sea salt, almond milk, collagen, and colostrum, and I do it iced. That's my go-to at-home matcha order. And then out is coconut milk with honey, but like in Georgia, they don't have coconut milk anywhere. This one says, what did your postpartum recovery really look like? It seemed like you handled it really well. So again, I don't want to downplay anybody else's experience, and I also don't want anybody to listen to what I'm saying and be like, well, why didn't I feel that way? I had, for the most part, a really smooth postpartum experience. Physically, like in terms of healing, I healed very, very quickly. I very luckily did not suffer from baby blues, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, like nothing like that, which I'm incredibly grateful for. And I feel like I talked about this somewhere recently, so if I sound like a broken record, like someone put in the comments and tell me where I talked about this. But something that I think was very preventative and helped was my husband, Matt, before I gave birth, was like, hey, if you experience postpartum depression, what would you like me to do? How can I help you? What are the steps I can take? And he just wanted to be really proactive, and like, because he was like, I understand that like if that happens, you might not be able to like communicate what's going on, and it might be a lot harder to find ways to help you in the moment. So I want to know ahead of time. And I wasn't very helpful because I was like, I don't really know. But I think that's a really important conversation to have with your partner or your support system, just to make sure that you have a good postpartum experience, or just like you get the support that you need. The hardest part of postpartum for me was my body. It took me a really, 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 really long time to lose quite literally any weight. And I feel like everybody I saw on social media lost their weight immediately and like went back to normal, or like maybe they didn't gain that much in their pregnancy, they didn't have much to lose, but like I lost, I think, 5 pounds from May to December. Like gave birth in May, end of May, and until December, I think I lost 5 pounds, literally. But then from December until now, I've lost like 15, like close to 20 pounds. So that was extremely difficult for me. Like it is really, really hard for me now to look back at, like I loved looking back at pictures and videos of Louie and like reminiscing on that time and just like how she's grown. But it is transparently really difficult for me to look at those pictures because I look at myself and I literally don't recognize myself. And I was so uncomfortable with my body, and I had like in my body. And I had like no clothes that fit me well. And I just like, it was like hard for me to move around. Like I think I know what the issue is now. Like I think and please don't take this like and apply it to your own journey because like everyone is so different. I think I was listening to a lot of what the internet and society told me about like, oh, you need to eat more because you're breastfeeding. And I don't actually think I needed to. Like I wasn't like stuffing myself, but I definitely like was not as hungry as the calories I was consuming. And there's so much, and I know I've talked about this somewhere else, so much conflicting information of like what you should be doing postpartum and like how to get a good body composition and how to lose fat and how to do this. And I was like, you know what? Everything is telling me I should be lifting weights. And I used to lift weights years ago, and I just don't think that is something that my body responds to. And so I also wasn't really doing cardio. And in December, I did this 75 reel challenge, and I started walking every single day. And I started being really, really intuitive with my eating. Like I had worked with a dietitian for a while who was so amazing and so helpful. And we kind of like tweaked things here and there throughout all those months. But what I think made the biggest difference is we went back to fully intuitive eating, just like eating what I want, when I want, with the knowledge of macros, like making sure I have fiber, making sure I have protein, all that good stuff, stopping when I'm full, like all those types of things. And then I just added in walking. Like every single day I walked for a minimum of 30 minutes, and I saw a massive change in my body. So to answer your question of how did postpartum really go, that's how it went. The biggest struggle was just my body. This says, new follower here, would love to hear about your birth story. I would love to share my birth story, but I don't want to bore you guys in this video. I will link my video below because I have my birth vlog and the like chatty version of my birth story. But long story short, it was incredibly smooth. Anyone who's a first-time mom out there, please don't be scared. And my number one tip to you is do not listen to any negative birth stories. The story and the example I always give is my best friend was pregnant at the same time as me, and she gave birth 2 months before me. And when I talked to her after I had Louie, she's like, did I ever tell you what happened? And I told her, no, I didn't ask. I knew it was a little bit traumatic and I didn't want to know. And she was like, no, that's totally fair. So even if it means being a little bit uncomfortable and like someone's trying to tell you something, just be like, oh, like I'd really rather not hear that. I'm trying to just like keep my mind really positive. So that's my biggest tip. I know you didn't ask for it, but only listen to positive things. And if you want a positive birth story, listen to mine. Did you follow any specific routines for sleep or feeding? Not really. I'm sure I've talked about this before. We've used the Huckleberry app since literally day one, and it has been so incredibly helpful. We had a little stint in the hospital at the beginning. I feel like I've said this a million times. And they were asking us, like, constantly coming in, when did she eat? When did she poop? When did she pee? Like, all these types of questions, and it was like so hard to keep track of. So we've used Huckleberry since literally day one. And when you get to about 3 months, if you have like the pro version, it develops a sweet spot for you, which basically just like takes in like your baby's wake windows and it gives you like an estimated nap time. And the biggest thing that it taught us was to learn Louie's cues. And now like we can kind of put her down for naps and for bedtime whenever she wants, or whenever we want to. Like, it'll say like 8:20 bedtime and we just put her down at 8 and it goes perfectly fine. So I highly recommend that. We didn't do like a sleep, feed, wake, or whatever like that type of schedule was. We really just went off of wake windows. And yeah. What baby products did you end up using the most? I have to really think about this. We did not get a lot of the very popular baby things, I think. Like, we ended up using our bottle sterilizer a lot. Like, once we moved, we got one, but we didn't have it at the beginning. We didn't get like a white warmer and like a diaper cream spatula. Like there's a lot of things we didn't get. We are pretty minimal. I would say baby products that we used a lot was the Love Every Play Gym. It is so useful. Like Louie literally still plays with it. She's been playing with it since day one. Our Artie Pop. We use our Artie Pop a lot. Obviously, like our stroller. I love our stroller setup. And all of this stuff I will link for you guys below. Bibs pacifiers. She loves those pacifiers. She's been taking them basically since day one. Same with Bibs bottles. This was more like later on, but we've been using something like this since about 4 months. This is a little like, right now it has snacks in it, but it's a little like divided formula container. So whenever we would go out, we just like fill up the allotted amount and then bring bottles with us. That's super helpful. I feel like that's all I can think of at the moment. Anything specific this year that made you feel like a really proud mom? I don't know. I do feel like in general, when people like compliment Louie and just be like, oh my God, she's so chill. She's so happy. Like, she seems like such an easy baby. I know so much of that is not us. So much of that is just Louie as a person. But that I feel like makes me feel really proud. I actually think traveling with her, and this is not just me, this is me and Matt together. We were really intent on kind of like proving everybody wrong in terms of like your life's over when you have a baby. Like, we were taking Louie out to coffee shops like 1 week after she was born. Like, we've been to Paris, we've been to Disney World, we've been to the beach, like we've been to Cabo. Like, we've been so many places with her. Not as many as we'd like to, but that's not because of her. That's just because of our situation. I feel like I'm just really proud that we are achieving the lifestyle that we want with Louie. And I could go a lot more in depth with that. There's a lot of nuance to that because I'm not currently living the lifestyle I want. But in terms of children, babies with us, we definitely took the approach of bringing her into our life, not changing our life for her. And yes, before you even say anything, if you're one of those out there that's going to say something, you obviously have to change things, okay? Like, there are routines that shift. You have to bring more stuff with you. But that doesn't mean you have to do anything differently. Like, there are very, 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 very few things that we have not done just because we have a baby. And I'm really proud that we've achieved that. Did you feel lost in your new identity as a mom? How'd you cope with that? I'm struggling. I feel like this is really common, and I feel like I keep bringing it back to other things, like not even motherhood, but I actually don't feel that at all in motherhood. Like, I love the new role I'm in. The only like identity loss that I've had is if you don't know, if you haven't caught on from this video, we had a really major life change after Louie was born, which was moving from Santa Monica, California to a suburb of Atlanta and moving in with family. And I was in California for like 5 years, and I say this in like every freaking chatty video because I feel like it comes up. I have never been happier than when I've lived there. And I feel like the lifestyle I had, the routines I had, who I was as a person, like the things I engaged in were kind of all stripped away from me when I moved. And that just happened to coincide with like being a mom, like becoming a mom. And so I feel like that has affected my identity a lot more than becoming a mom. Like becoming a mom just added to who I am and like kind of helped me figure out what's important to me and the things that I do care about. And it's just really unfortunate because a lot of those things can't happen in our current situation. So that's really the only like identity shift I've had, but I do think it's really, really common to feel that way and to feel like you've kind of like lost yourself. What's something you wish someone told you before becoming a mom? So this is really funny because I wish nobody told me anything. I am, to a flaw, somebody who hates recommendations and hates advice unless I specifically seek it out. And a lot of people in my life have a really hard time with that. But it's just who I am. Like, okay, sorry if the angle changed. The camera was overheating. We're almost done. You could tell me 100 times, hey, watch this TV show. I think you'd really like it. But until I'm ready to receive that, I'm never going to listen to you. Never going to listen to you. Now, if I come to you for advice or I ask for a recommendation, one, you should feel very special because that's very rare. Like, very rare. There's like, probably like 2 people I go to for advice or recommendations, honestly. You know who you are. But anyway, so I really wish nobody had told me anything because all it did was piss me off. To be completely honest, I hated when people would tell me things about becoming a mom, and I still really can't stand it. Like, I feel like that's a whole other rant. Should I do it? You want to hear? Okay. I really hate when people compare. Because when people are giving you advice about being a mom or like warning you about something as a mom, they are literally only speaking from their experience and they project so much of that experience onto you. And I think that's really dumb. And then they do that once the baby's here. Like Louis does something that's like, oh, well, this baby does this. Or like, that's just like this baby did. I'm like, don't compare her. Like, it's not the same thing. They're completely different. Like, I really, really hate baby comparison. It makes me so angry. Like, I can't stand, there's like so many layers of this. Like, I really can't stand, I'm going to get too heated. But anyway, I wish nobody had told me anything. And I wish they listened to me when I said, I don't care what you have to say. No offense. And not because it's not valuable, just because it's not applicable. And I think people also have a really hard time digesting that of like, your experience is really not applicable to me. Our situations are not the same. There are certain things that we can kind of agree on and be like, oh yeah, I went through the same thing. But especially like older generations or basically anyone who had a kid before me, like unless your baby is around the same age as me, you're not raising your kid at the same time. You're not raising your kid with the same resources and it's not applicable. Like your experience, if you are telling me something about being a mom, you are literally only speaking from your own experience and you're projecting it onto me and you just like want me often to be as miserable as you are as a mom. So I wish nobody told me anything. How has becoming a mom changed your relationship with yourself? I feel like this is kind of same as that identity question. I think it's improved it a lot because I have really just honed in on what I care about and really just let things I don't care about fall by the wayside. I've become a lot more confident in my decisions, and something that I've heard, and this really just describes me as a mom, and again, people might not like it, but the phrase was something like, I don't care if I'm the villain in your story, if I'm the hero in hers, or like his, like your child. And that's like really how I feel. And I think a lot of people have an issue with that, but I'm like, I don't really care if I temporarily hurt an adult's feelings for the betterment of my child. Like, I've just gained so much more confidence in my decisions and who I am as a person because of being a mom. And yeah, just really like kind of cut out all the excess in my life. And I felt like I didn't have the excuse for that before. Like, I felt obligated to still, like, go to things I didn't want to go to and, like, do things I didn't want to do because I'm like, what excuse do I have other than, like, I don't want to do it? And now I'm like, I truly have to be so intentional with my time and energy that, like, if it's not something I really want to do, why would I take that energy and time away from my daughter? I don't know if that's quite exactly what the question was asking, but that's the best way I can answer it. One moment you wish you could relive. Oh, and that's the last one. Man, that's a big one to land on. Oh, I don't know. That's gonna be really anticlimactic to land on that. Just saying like, I don't know, but like, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. The first year of parenthood is so special. You feel like every single moment is monumental because it is, because like every day they're never gonna be that young again and they're the oldest they've ever been. So it's like, I sound like a fortune cookie. Every moment is so special. Maybe taking her to Disney World, if I had to pick, like she loved Disney World. Like she had so much fun, but just like seeing her experience things like, and I'm like thinking of like 100, like I had her play with water the other day and she was like so excited. She thought it was the coolest thing she's ever done in her entire life. She was just like, ooh, like the whole time. Like everything you do when you have a baby is so special and so new and it's like so exciting. So I feel like, I don't know, just like reliving all of it. This was super fun, kind of getting me to reflect, because I'm a very reflective person, but I'm not a very, I'm not great with my words. Like I'm not very profound. Not that I'm not deep and not that I don't have layers, but I'm just like, I'm not the person that can like preach stuff, you know, like that's not me. So this was kind of fun to get me to like reflect back. I love chatty videos, honestly. They're kind of like my favorite to film. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments and maybe I'll do a part 2. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, this was super fun for me, and stay tuned for Louie's first birthday vlog. Please make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it, and please, please, please make sure you subscribe. It really helps me, and I will see you guys in the next one.